What's going on, peoples? We got the first crew. What's up?
Yo, what's going on, guys? So back in 2025, we hosted our second collective here in McAllen, Texas, my hometown, actually. And what we did is that we got 15 videographers and filmmakers from all across the country, and we all gather around in community and we talk about how we can get to that next level in our business. And so this is probably one of the most fulfilling things that I get to do as being a mentor and coach, and having the Freedom on Demand Collective is just gathering people in a single room and just being able to just talk about what are some of the challenges that people are facing and how we can implement solutions. And I love this because there's just something about getting people into a single room that, I don't know what it is, but just breakthrough happens. Like, a lot of people leave that event and they just start having massive breakthroughs. And so essentially we all got here on a Wednesday, and Thursday, Friday, and Saturday was all focused on presentations and workshopping. What's going on, guys? We are here at the first day of the McAllen Collective. Super excited. We are going to get 15 people out. It's going to be a hell of a time. Today is day one, and we got Chad, who's one of our facilitators, all the way from Vancouver, who's going to be focusing on first doing a morning centering routine so we get our heads on straight, especially from the long trip of people flying out from all across the country.
My name is Hunter Nelson. My company is called Scaling with Social. I've been here for just over a month, and just like the community and working together and everyone being on the same page and being able to all be agency owners is just a ton of fun. Like, definitely getting to connect on that level is so cool. I just expect getting that one key, I feel like every time coming to something like this, it's not about absorbing everything. It's about getting that one little key that changes everything for your business over the next year.
And then Chad's actually going to do a session on mastering yourself, getting your head in the right place so that you can be prepared for everything that entrepreneurship has to throw at you. And then later this afternoon, I'm going to take over and we're going to focus on building out your offer, making an offer that is result driven, and putting that into the marketplace so you can attract the type of clients that you want to be working with instead of having to chase leads down without any kind of predictability. So yeah, let's go ahead and dive in. It's going to be an awesome time. Excited for what these guys are going to experience, and we're going to have a good time. Let's go.
My name's Chad McFarlane. I'm a business and leadership coach. My journey into this stuff started right out of school. I've been in and out of entrepreneurship since the 90s, so you gotta think I'm dating myself. But one of the first companies I worked for was Nintendo, and I actually, if you can believe this, I launched their first website. That's what we were talking about back then. So I went from working at big companies to entrepreneurship. My first thing in entrepreneurship, we raised a seed round through Martin Ray, who was an investor, a tech investor at that time. This is after I finished Nintendo. Went on and raised $2.5 million through Orca Bay Capital, and then we went on and raised another $10 million round. So my whole entrepreneurship was more in the tech world, and really grew and kind of went through that whole first internet bubble, if you can believe that. I was right in the realm of that. From there, I went in and I connected with Warren Wall, who was at Electronic Arts, and he was one of the bigwigs there. They're starting a new division, and he brought me in because I worked at Nintendo, and at that time, they were like, hey, we should start thinking about getting into mobile stuff. They were getting into more mobile things, and no one wanted to work on mobile games, if you can believe that back then. But because I was at Nintendo, I was like, hey, Game Boy is the thing. I was the Pokemon spokesperson for Canada.
I didn't know that, dude. That's that big. Hey, I'm top.
So we went from that to entrepreneurship back into EA, and I was in this fusion division, learning more like another process or taking care of client stuff. It's like, hey, how do we kind of regroup every day and really focus on ourselves so we have the energy, the understanding to really move forward in our businesses and really be powerful in all these areas. So what I thought we'd do, this is like, there's a little exercise, maybe we'll do this to like really we heard each other's superpowers, but let's start thinking about maybe some of the different parts of the business. So let's go through the main focus of the business are sales, marketing, operations, and finance, right? Those are the main pillars. So maybe we'll just see like where we are in the group here. Maybe raise your hand. Let's start with sales. Let's say if you're at 10 out of 10 on sales, like you're a master of sales, maybe put your hand up.
I just joined the program like a few days ago, so I'm kind of just jumping into the ocean and seeing what's happening. And yeah, I'm excited to learn, just immerse myself in the environment, be around a bunch of other like-minded people, have conversations, and just deep dive in, you know, so I'm excited. What made me jump in, honestly, my wife and I have been thinking about getting coaching and mentorship for the business for a while. We looked up a bunch of different coaches and mentors, and it's super important to find someone you really resonate with. And I've been keeping up with Luis's content for a while. So yeah, we just waited on it, prayed into it, and we felt like he was the right person. And so yeah, it was just time to pull the trigger, and you know, things lined up, so jumped in.
Super appreciative of everybody just making it down, man. Like, honestly, it means a lot. Me doing this is like super fulfilling. It's obviously just really cool getting everybody inside of a room. We are so isolated as entrepreneurs. This type of business is so different from so many other ones because a lot of times you're working remote, so you just don't really get to hang out and be with people. And so one of the things that I really love about this is that we're all kind of like the same people, but in different parts of the country. Same values, same interests, similar walks in life, and all kind of just helping each other really just get to that next level. So it really means a lot, you guys being here. So on day one, it was full of, you know, sessions and then workshopping and just having a lot of fun. And then at the end of the night, we ended up just taking the guys to have some Texas barbecue, right? We got to hang out, just talk shop, and really also talk about, you know, just life in general. And it was really cool just being able to connect with the guys and just get closer with them all around.
Let's get going into today's session here. So yesterday we looked at the inner world. Now we're going to the outer world. Maybe this is definitely important. Not a lot of people touch on this, but really how to really get, you know, deliver the results for your clients. You know, set those boundaries, and, you know, deliver your value without resentment. And I think that's usually a big thing around it. And it all starts with how we show up in those first conversations with them. And what we're going to get into, like managing your clients and sales. I feel on my journey, it's all about leadership. It's how you show up on those initial conversations with them, how you set up. And a lot of the stuff that Louise is even teaching us is like how we even set up our Instagram and how we're like framing it. It's all starting from those initial things. So you got to like start taking it and being like, okay, I'm a leader. I'm going to lead this conversation. I'm going to set powerful boundaries that are respectful. I'm going to work with you, and I'm going to deliver the results. And just really have that clarity with them. Sentence. We'll start with the top one. I feel the strongest in my client leadership right now. When? Like, where do you feel strong with your clients when you're showing up with them? Is it
current clients?
Yeah, current clients. How do you feel? Where do you feel the strongest, Nick, with your current clients? What conversations? Where are you really leading them?
I feel like I'm the most confident with them when we are tailoring like message and ideal clients, like guiding them down that path and pulling that out.
I think hearing from some of the other people about their breakthroughs, I kind of connected with, seeing myself in certain positions where I haven't chosen to break through that wall yet, which is a choice. It's like fear-based. For me, those were some really like huge moments where I'm just like, okay, I'm ready to move through those things. I just have to bend, step up. So this is my second collective. I mean, I think that they're both super cool. The space is super awesome here in McAllen. I'm excited to have Chad here. That's super cool because he just has so much information I like connect with whenever I hear him speak. So I'm really excited to hear more of what like Chad has to say too. I expect to just have like a lot more breakthroughs, to film a lot more content, to just get a lot more content scripted and just connect with everyone and hear their stories and hear what's hard for them, hear their wins and see what else I can take from that, as well as like share what I can bring,
Day one is great because we started off with working out and getting your mind right through the group activities. And I feel like it's a good way to like do a non-cheesy icebreaker. What I really appreciate was Chad's session dug us into the details of like business and life and some like deep stuff, almost like shadow work right away. And like there's no faster way to get to know someone than just get to the point. I would recommend everybody come to the in-person events because it's an opportunity to meet people that are going through similar challenges as you, but they're at different stages. So they may be just starting out or they may be further along. And so it's a really good opportunity to learn from people, but also you get a lot of energy from teaching other people something that you've learned or something that you've achieved or something that you've gone through. So you basically get the opportunity to like give a lot and get a lot from the event. And I think also just being in a group of people with like this kind of energy is invaluable. Like it's not something that I get locally or around myself. So I find it to be like really, really energizing for like a long period. For like many months afterwards, I'm still like thinking about it, experiencing the benefits of it.
So we'll cover some material, guys, but more than anything, like, let's workshop some stuff, okay? And if you guys have some, like we were talking about his client, if you guys have one client in particular you want to chat about, we can do it. I have like maybe 5 slides to go over or something like that, maybe 6 or so, and then we can just workshop on stuff. So I just want to give you guys a breakdown of what the funnel is looking like. Now, you don't have to do this, but yesterday when I was telling you that we're kind of trying to reinvent how we provide the service and kind of how do we have more of a blue ocean offer, how do we do something a little bit different. So if we're combining social funnel with direct response, then this is what I'm thinking. I said, so with price, you're simply just trying to answer the question of how can I afford this, right? And a lot of times when people complain about really low quality leads, it's typically because they're not putting the price on the ad. And so again, like price is obviously filtering, price is obvious, like I was just like, dude, like let's just put the price on the ad because guess what? It's the #1 question people have. So it's like, why waste their time, right? So just address it up front, let them know how much it is. If it's a low ticket thing, well then great, do that. If it's essentially something that's expensive, ideally you would do financing. If not, you would probably have to go the route of like, hey man, it's $500 off, or, like I have some orthodontists that we do put, it's, $39.99 on the ad. And it definitely generates less leads, like obviously the cost per lead is higher, but like at least like people are coming in and it is something,
Day one of this FOD Collective has been so awesome. Getting to know all these guys in the group in person, not just on a video call, is really fun. Getting to see all the personalities and just hearing all of the knowledge and experience that these guys have, and just being able to bounce ideas off of each other is so incredibly helpful. Our first few sessions just had me taking so many notes. I have like 5 pages of notes already. It's only day 1 out of 3, and I feel like I've already got a very solid start to a plan for when I go home, how to get more clients and how to really put the pedal to the metal with creating content and with just making steps towards success for myself. Day 2 and 3, I'm expecting to dive even deeper, building on the concepts that we learned on yesterday and just taking them the next step further, continuing to build community with these guys. I've been in the group for 5 months. I've seen them, I've interacted with them a lot on the calls, but man, there's nothing that builds that community and that trust and that connection more than just being in person for a few days straight. So I'm really pumped for that. And I think that learning more about ads, learning more about how to really message correctly to people in our own ads and in our own content is going to be huge for me. And I am pumped to learn more about sales and marketing and just really become better at wearing each of the hats that we wear as agency owners.
Day one was great. It was very helpful to just be focused for like the entire day on learning a lot of this stuff and really diving into like making some scripts, trying to get a lot of that done. Like a lot of this is stuff that's very new to me. So it's been helpful to just have that very dedicated, like, okay, we had a whole 8-hour day of just learning this stuff. So that's been great for me. The group has been great. There's a good variety of like different levels that people are at. I'm probably the most at like the start of this journey, but it's great to see like, okay, here's a guy that's where in the path are y'all? So it's like, I've started down this, I'm 2 weeks in. Here's another guy who's 4 months in and had to do the parts that I'm trying to do. For the rest of the event, I'm hoping to really dial in my scripts, shoot content, watch it back, see how much I hate it, because I know I'm going to hate it at first. The getting feedback is a really great tool here, just to have like a bunch of other people that are just as critical of their stuff as I am critical of my stuff. So it's like they're going to see the things where it's like, oh, you shouldn't do this, should do that. It's like, it's great when it's like, it can be blunt, but it's coming from a constructive criticism side of things. Like as long as it's constructive to me, awesome, that's great.
Day one, it was kind of shocking personally for me. I guess I've never had it like tailored around people like-minded and that it was tailored for me specifically. So for me, it was very much like a little bit of a breakthrough when it came to just looking inward to like fix your business. Currently looking forward to doing the little session with Chad on sales. So I'm hoping to get a clear path of like how to do a sales calls, as I'm not very good at that. I mean, I feel like there's really no limit to what I can learn this weekend still.
Day one of the event was awesome. It's my first time ever being a part of a collective like this, and just being around like-minded people, being around people who have the same values as you, who are trying to reach similar goals and who are in different levels in the game is really powerful. And you just bounce ideas off of each other. You break through things that you've been struggling with for months in a couple days. Because everyone is like giving their input. So I think it's just a really good way to meet people and not be in that area alone. So all in all, it's been a great experience.
On day two, after the sessions, we ended up having Nick, who is our barbecue master, actually grill some amazing meat for us. So we had barbecue. Of course, you're in Texas and you're gonna be having barbecue every single day. But it was really cool being able to have one of our own just prepare a meal for us. And it was just really cool being able to share that with everybody.
So the event has been amazing. Like I think that just the feedback and support the different members have been giving each other, and coaching and teaching that has been going back and forth, and people sharing their best lessons and their best ideas from everyone in the group and the coaches and people facilitating. It has been some of the best conversations. It's been amazing. The people seem all really cool. Like you look around, it's interesting going, I've gone to so many of these events, and it's always great to see that, you know, you go out there in the real world and you don't really see too many people like you. And you go to events like this and like everyone's kind of like me. A lot of fathers are here, a lot of people building their businesses, and it's just really cool to connect on the business side and on the life side.
Let's get going, guys. So we want to kind of touch base where we ended off, and like, here's all the stuff I do, and we need to delegate it or do it differently. So we're going to pick up on that thread, because really what we want to be doing is building that support system for ourselves, right? And I think the big thing
that I want you to focus on when you're doing this is like, yeah, you got some tasks to do, but it's really going to be around learning to let things go. That's really going to be like one of the biggest and probably the hardest things you're going to need to do as you move forward, especially around for if you're a creative person and there's creative elements of your agency, and are probably the hardest to let go of, right? Just to be able to go, you just do it. So I know that Nick, you're talking about, you're really good at copywriting, so you're going to eventually need to let that go, and it'll probably be the hardest thing to let go. You kind of like when you're like, oh, I got to do this sales call. I really don't want to do. I really don't want to have this conversation. Oh shit, there's some copywriting I can edit and help out with. That's will be your default, and to try to catch yourself and going, no, when I say let go, I mean just let it go. Because what we're getting into, what Louise was talking about, is these gaps, right? Like, what was his belief? It was like, no one can do it like me. Every sales guy is, they're just going to be a salesy guy. They're going to be a lot of talk and no action, right? So all this stuff gets in the way. It's like, oh, I can't hire someone to do it because they wouldn't be able to manage and make the client feel as comfortable as I do, right?
Very egotistical. Yeah. I think that I'm the only one.
Automating your agency, a lot of it, we're going to be referring to almost like productizing it. And that's really the unique kind of opportunity that we have in front of us, right? With this business and any type of business, really, it's like the objective is always, how can I turn this into a streamlined process so that ultimately I can remove myself? And I feel like a lot of the traps that I see that, creatives or even just people in, building a video agency, is that they do a little bit of everything. They work with a lot of people and do different things for those people, that it's really hard for them to ever actually remove themselves from their business, because at the end of the day, they're just doing too many things, for too many different types of people. And then at the end of the day, they can't productize anything, right? And so the whole concept with this, and when I'll talk about productizing, is that at the end of the day, if you can really just lock in a few good amounts of systems, and then obviously people, then you can kind of get to a really good place where, like I said earlier, like you can have a lot of autonomy. And, obviously, bring on a few different roles, right? But the main two big ones, it's like, if you can have somebody that can handle fulfillment, so somebody that runs the business, and then someone that grows it, then those are like the two main roles that you need, so that you can ultimately remove yourself and kind of have the freedom on demand that I talked about, right?
I love these collectives because they do a couple things. They force us to focus on all the things that we need to be focusing on a day-to-day basis that we normally get distracted by all the other things that we're doing, all the paper pushing and everything else. So these allow us to just zone everything out, turn email off, and actually focus on our business and not be stuck in our business. So that's super effective, but it also allows us to work on the mindset stuff, which sometimes feels like not as important as the things that are right in front of us, but in reality, it's like way more important than the day-to-day grind that we normally work in. So I love that it just shuts out the distractions. And I also love the camaraderie that we get with all the other agency owners, because everyone has a different perspective, different solutions, different problems, that we can speak into all of each other's lives. And I can't tell you how many aha moments in both of the collectives that I've been in, where I just sat back and I'm like, I can't believe I never thought of that, or I've never thought of something that way. There's just so many just pull the blinder off moments that we get when we can be in a room with people who do the exact same thing we do, think the way we do, and have the same goals we do. I think a lot of people think of a collective, a mastermind, something like that as just a retreat that you go and you kind of get refreshed and you have some business conversations or seminars. What I think they don't recognize is the amount of momentum that you gain when you do one of these collectives is, astronomical. It's a flywheel, it's a slingshot. It would take me months to make the progress that I've made in the last couple of days. So when I'm setting expectations for these events, I don't just come into them like, oh, I'm going to sit down and write some notes and maybe learn something. I actually plan 3 or 4 months ahead, knowing that I'm going to have massive momentum going into the next few months because of what comes out of the collectives. As long as Louise holds these collectives, I'm going to be here every single time. They're a non-negotiable in my business.
To end things off, we all just stayed in, ordered some food, had some leftovers, and we just really got to just finish outlining questions that people had and just kind of giving people support. And again, everybody did a bunch of filming too, filming their ads, filming their own value content, so on and so forth. And man, so oh my gosh, just a really amazing time. So hopefully you got some value out of this, and hopefully you can come to the next event. All right, see you on the next one. Peace.